The Buffalo Sabres have signed Rasmus Dahlin to a monster contract extension for 8 years, $88 million with $11 million AAV. The Buffalo Sabres seem to have everything locked in and look like they're on the verge of going for the playoffs. And we'll be talking about all the Dahlin stuff as well as the playoff potential for the Buffalo Sabres in this video. But before we get into it, we've seen that 96% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So if you're looking for a spot to get all your news from around the NHL and your favorite team, you're on the right spot. Make sure to stay a while, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the breaking news. But like I said, the Buffalo Sabres have signed Rasmus Dahlin to an absolutely insane contract extension. It comes out a couple days ago, yesterday, just kind of out of the blue, and really, we haven't heard much about Rasmus Dahlin. We knew he was going to get a contract extension at soon enough, but it finally happened. An 8-year deal worth an absolutely crazy amount. He's now tied for the 7th highest paid player in the league, the second defenseman only behind Erik Karlsson, who we know how good he's been the past few years. And that's pretty much, what we expected from Dahlin at this point. The way he's been playing, the way he looks like he's going in the direction. So Noah, tell me, what do you think about this contract extension as a whole and how it's going to affect the Sabres going through the future?
It's definitely going to affect them in terms of all their young guys coming up, and they're all going to want mega deals. But I think he's worth every penny, to be completely honest with you. He's young, he's very solid, he's easily a top 10 defenseman in the league. But, after looking at it, and we've had a couple days to process it, I'm kind of wondering, are the Colorado Avalanche just absolute masters at contract extensions? Because, look at what Cale Makar got. He only got $9 million, I think it was, for 5 years. Cale Makar is, there's no debate, the best defenseman in the league. And he only got $9 million, and you got a guy, Rasmus Dahlin over here getting $11 million, which I was like, holy.
Yeah, it's an insane amount. But, the way he's been playing, his play style, I think it suits Buffalo well. So they're willing to give him that money, almost point per game last year. 53 and 80 games the year before, but he's just been trending upwards. I'm very excited to see how he does end up this year. But you see the chart here as well. Incredible on offense, incredible on defense. Power play and penalty taking, I guess you could say, could be better. Obviously, that's just something that you're going to have to work with over the next few years, getting into the power play, getting used to it. The penalty kill is good, but he's definitely a number one defenseman. I think it's very much what the Buffalo Sabres need at this point, with the possibility of, potentially going for the playoffs in the near future. And that's what we're going to talk about now. Are the Sabres ready to go for it? That's really the question we have to ask ourselves. Last year I think it was a major step up from what they've been doing over the past few years. And now especially guys with Zach Benson, one of the guys who, in the preseason, more points than Connor Bedard. I know it's only the preseason, but still, it's a pretty impressive number. But we really won't see enough yet until we get to the regular season. Get a few, maybe 20 to 30 games in from Zach Benson. But this team, I gotta say, it looks good. What do you think about this team going into this year and beyond this season?
It's a tough Atlantic division for sure. They have the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Boston Bruins. It seems like all the powerhouses are in the Atlantic, but Buffalo could very easily get into a playoff spot this year.
No, I want to say the same. The team has been built really well. Some of what we've seen, Jeff Skinner, Tage Thompson, Alex Tuch. We've seen a bit of the resurgence of Jeff Skinner last season, But with Tage Thompson, Alex Tuch, can't really blame him. You got JJ Peterka, looked fantastic. Dylan Cousins, Victor Olofsson, two guys who have cemented themselves in this lineup. Second line, can't see them going above Tage Thompson, Alex Tuch just yet. Jordan Greenway, who they acquired last year from the Minnesota Wild, had a bit of down year in Minnesota. When he got to Buffalo, seemed to look a bit better. Casey Middlestat, I think they're kind of hoping he's going to get a bit better as well throughout the upcoming season and beyond. And Zach Benson, like we said, who has looked absolutely fantastic. And two vets on the wing here in the fourth line, Zemgus Girgensson and Kyle Okposo, with Peyton Krebs in the middle. This is a very deep forward core that the Buffalo Sabres have here. But no, I know you were a very big fan of Zach Benson. What do you think about him this preseason and what he's going to be doing in this next few weeks here?
Well, I don't expect him to do crazy amounts. He's not going to be a point per game player by no means. I think he's only 17 or 18 years old. But, he has all the talent to come in. You got a young Buffalo team that's going to be on the rise in the next 2-3 years. They might make the playoffs this year, like I said. He's got it all set up there for him. I think he's going to be a stellar player in the league.
Yep, I'm right with you on that one. I think one of the only things Buffalo is lacking, really, is more so experience than anything. They have a few older guys like Kyle Okposo, Girgensons, a lot of those guys who have been around the league for a while, but still don't have the overly high amount of playoff experience. As well in defense, you really only have Erik Johnson and Connor Clifton, two more experienced guys, but then you have Mattias Samuelsson, Rasmus Dahlin, who got a monster extension there. Owen Power and Henri Jokiharju, two guys who haven't seen much yet. They haven't been there for the Buffalo, the scary times in Buffalo, but they're certainly getting on their way up to being an elite team here. And in net, Devin Levi. I think this is one guy everybody around the NHL, everybody who's fans of the NHL, not just the Sabres, are excited to see. But one thing that I wanted to mention, we were just talking about this before the video. Where's Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen? He's been in that team since 2017, and he was, one of the highly touted prospects, and he kind of just seems to have, not really had much play, not really any involvement with this Buffalo team. I know he played a few games last year, but you really think at this point he'd be backing up or at least splitting time with Devin Levi instead of Eric Comrie. So do you think there's any way you might see him get traded from the Buffalo Sabres roster, maybe to a team who's in the middle of a rebuild, maybe trying to trade their current goalie and get one for the future? What do you think? Because he's only 24.
I mean, I think you're kind of wasting him away down there. I mean, I assume he's the AHL starter. Likely, would have to be. I mean, there's no way they'd carry three goalies. But, I mean, over Eric Comrie, I don't know. I didn't think Eric Comrie was a great goaltender. I mean, he might be a serviceable backup. But, I try to maximize my value for him. I mean, they're pretty – I mean, I won't say they're lacking on defense, but I'd like for them to add maybe another right-handed defenseman. They're – I mean, Mattias Samuelsson, Rasmus Dahlin, Owen Power are all – phenomenal defensemen, but Erik Johnson and Connor Clifton. I don't know if they're like a bottom pairing guy. They're kind of like a 7th and 8th defenseman for me. I'd like for them to add another big piece on defense. I mean, that's kind of where my head's at with that. But try and maximize what you can get for Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen by all means.
Yeah, I'm with you there as long as they're going to waste him in the AHL. I don't think if he's in the NHL, I'd say leave him for now. Because we don't really know about Devin Levi yet either. He obviously proved a lot last year. And he's looked fantastic in what we've seen in the World Juniors,
he's going to be
what we've seen in Buffalo. But as for the run, are Buffalo Sabres going to go on a run yet? I don't really know. I don't think they should rush it into one, mainly because I'm a firm believer in do not rush a goalie. You can't rush a goalie if you want to have success. And in this case, Devin Levi is having an insane amount of success. So I think that they shouldn't rush him. Let him get a full year of NHL experience first before they kind of force him into a playoff spot, more so than getting one naturally. Now, if they do get one naturally this year and just getting put into one by playing good, fine by me. That's fine. Obviously Devin Levi's going to get that experience then. He's got to get it somewhere. But I wouldn't, put him in net for 50 to 60 games of the season. I know you don't want to stress him out. Because Thatcher Demko is one example. Yeah. I think the season before last they played him 60-something games, and he was out pretty much all of last season with an injury. You don't want to push him into a situation that he hasn't been in before. Now, obviously, we know he's played junior and everything. He's played good there, played a lot there, but being a junior goalie compared to the NHL with heavy bodies, heavier shots, quicker pace, you can't push him into that area. That's just something you got to watch out for.
I think they ride with him. I mean, he's got all the makings.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. You gotta put him. He's your starter. He is your absolute starter. He's your number one. But I don't think they should, put him into 60 of 82 games this season when you have a guy like Eric Comrie, who last year wasn't bad. He's proven himself as a decent backup, and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, who could definitely play some games as well. I just don't think that they need to force him into becoming a quick developed goalie. I just don't think that's a feasible option.
I'm also a little bit biased because I took Devin Levi really, really high in fantasy. So.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, it is a safe bet to take him and play him. You got to get the experience somewhere, like I said. But I think that you got to be hesitant about his health before anything because he's super young yet. I don't know, was he 21, if that's 22? Yeah,
I think so. But you also got to realize if he comes in, he's been compared to Carey Price and guys.
Looks like him too. They're identical.
Which is anyway. But if you can ride with him and he gets on a hot streak, man, Buffalo can easily squeak in with the forward core they have. And I'm all for letting him play, letting him see what he can do. And if he comes out and plays like Carey Price, man,
You got a good guy in your hands if that is the case.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to do, I want to hear from the Buffalo Sabres fans, or just people who follow the Buffalo Sabres in the comments. What do you think about the Buffalo Sabres potentially going on a run or, making that effort to make it to the playoffs for this upcoming season? I want to hear what you guys think, because we've been going with a back and forth with us and Nick about what the Buffalo Sabres are going to do this season because of how, stacked the East group of teams is. The ones that are there, they're there and they're very good. So I'm curious to see what you guys what you guys think about this possible Buffalo Sabres team. But that's all we have for this video. We'll be back tomorrow with another video for you guys. So if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video so you don't miss out on any of the big content. But that's all. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.